All right, we have got ourselves a rational expression division problem. And I'm going to do this in the order of keep, change, flip, switch it to multiplication, factor, cancel, and then kind of multiply out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite this as a multiplication problem. 10b squared plus 42b plus 36 divided by 6b squared minus 2b minus 60. And then I change it to multiplication, and then I flip the second fraction. So 6b squared minus 13b plus 10 all over 40b plus 48. Right, now I can start the factoring process. So I'm going to start with 10. I will leave right here to kind of rewrite my fraction. So we will start with 10b squared plus 42b plus 36. And the first thing I notice is that these are all even. So even though it's a quadratic that's ready to factor, the first thing I'm going to do is divide everything by 2. So I can take out a 2 and I'll have 5b squared plus 21b plus 18. Okay, and then I can focus on factoring this part. So I'm going to multiply 18 and 5 together. That'll give me 90. So I'm looking for what multiplies to 90b squared and adds to 21b. And after some playing around, that's going to be 6b and 15b, right? I just started dividing 90 by things. I started with 10, then I went lower, higher, until I got two factors that add to 15, or add to 21. Because now I can rewrite this as 10b squared plus 6b plus 15b plus 18, and actually that should be 5b squared, right? Because we're just factoring that inside bit now. And we can factor by grouping. So what can I take out here? I can take out a b, that's it, so that leaves me with 5b plus 6. And then here I can take out a 3, and that leaves me with 5b plus 6. So it factors to b plus 3 times 5b plus 6, and then there's still that 2. So our first little spot is going to be 2b plus 3 times 5b plus 6. Okay? Now we can move on to factoring 6b squared minus 26b minus 60. Is that 26b? Oh, it's just 2b. Okay. Minus 2b. Okay. Again, I'm noticing everything's even, right? So I can pull out a 2, and that leaves me with 3b squared minus b minus 30. Okay, and I can factor that. Again, I'm using the AC method. Just find yourself a method that works and use it every time. So I'm looking for what multiplies to negative 90b squared and adds to negative b. That's going to be negative 10b and 9b again. I actually started with 9 and 10 this time, but you're just looking at factors of 90. There's a little bit of guess and check always. There's no foolproof algorithm for factoring. So now I can factor by grouping. So we have 3b squared. I'll split negative b into 9b minus 10b. Order doesn't matter. Minus 30. Take a look at 3b squared and 9b. I can take out a 3b, and that leaves me with b plus 3. Negative 10b minus 30, I can take out a negative 10, and that leaves me with b plus 3. So my factors are going to be 3b minus 10 times b plus 3, keeping in mind we still have that 2. So let's put that up top. All right, so now we've got that in place. And we have two more things we need to factor. First one being 3b squared minus 13b plus 10. So we'll go ahead and do that down here. All right, we've got 3b squared minus 13b plus 10. So there's no GCF here, right? There's no greatest common factor to be pulled out, so we can just go right into Again, I like using the AC method. You can use whatever method you want. So what multiplies to 30b squared and adds to negative 13b? Well, it's got to multiply to a positive, but add to a negative. So we know they both need to be negative. So that's how I know it's going to be negative 10b and negative 3b. So then again, we do our factoring thing. I do grouping, b squared minus 10b minus 3b plus 10. Again, order doesn't matter for the middle terms. This, I can't take out anything but a b, and I'm left with 3b minus 10. Here, keeping in mind I want this to match, right? I'm going to pull out a negative 1 because then that will leave me with 3b minus 10. I've got b minus 1. It's one of my factors, and 3b minus 10 is the other. So now I can move that to the top. Alrighty, one more thing to factor. 40b plus 48. So 40b plus 48, it's not a quadratic, but that doesn't mean we can't factor it, right? We can look and we can see what it has in common and pull that out. So 40 and 48 are both divisible by 8, right? If I take out an 8, that's their GCF, I'm left with 5b plus 6, right? And now there's nothing else that they have in common, so I can just consider this factored. Okay, so 8 times 5b plus 6 goes here, 8 times 5b plus 6, and now we can move on to kind of the second to last step and cancel things, right? Now that these are all factors being multiplied, so everything in the numerator is being multiplied, everything in the denominator is being multiplied, now we can undo them with division, right? So we look at what is in the numerator and also in the denominator. That's the stuff that's going to cancel. So we've got a b plus 3 and a b plus 3. We have a 5b plus 6 in the numerator and a 5b plus 6 in the denominator. We've got a 3b minus 10, 3b minus 10. And we've got a 2 and a 2, right? All those things, 2 divided by 2, that equals 1. 5b plus 6 divided by 5b plus 6, that equals 1. So we are left with b minus 1 in the top and 8 in the bottom. So this is our final answer.